Timeout Show brought to you by Coach B's Driving School at CoachB'sDrivingSchool.com. Do what Martin Peterson did. Get your driver's education done with Coach B's Driving School. Martin has a clean driving record. You'll find him driving safely on the roads with his hands at 10 and 2 and his eyes securely on the roadway. Coach B's Driving School has Segment 1, Segment 2 availabilities. They work around your extracurricular activities and schedule. Coach B's Driving School also matches all of their competitors' prices. In fact, they do better than match them. They beat them. Check them out at CoachB'sDrivingSchool.com. That's CoachB'sDrivingSchool.com. Our show tonight also brought to you by our friends at the Jack Smith Agency in Litchfield, Performance Automotive in Hillsdale and Jonesville, our good friends at the Hillsdale Travel Center. And Mike and Denise have been doing that for a long time down there. They're still maintaining vehicles, and they have a lot to offer down at the Hillsdale Travel Center on South Hillsdale Road. And then a little further down the road, Randy's Auto Body, bringing a lot to the table in terms of auto body work. We have a great roster of sponsors. We appreciate each and every one of them. And let's roll on a Tuesday night. Tonight, Scotty Robare and Scott Phillips with the Hillsdale High School tennis program. We're going to talk about the 2016 batch of girls tennis players. And also tonight, we've got a listener poll on our Twitter feed, ACB on WCSR. Check us out on Twitter, ACB on WCSR. The question tonight, what did you make of Kobe Bryant dropping 60 on Utah in a meaningless game, game 82, in a season that the Lakers won 16 games? Are you on board with Kobe dropping 60 on Utah? Is that a big deal or just a meaningless situation? We've got about 10 voters already on the Twitter feed. Go to ACB on WCSR. Follow us on Twitter, and you can be part of the show. Let's bring Scott Phillips in. Scott, come on over here, and we'll talk with you. He's got his neon yellow shoes on. A couple of coaching questions before we talk tennis. Right. If you had the equivalent of Steph Curry in a playoff, like a tennis player that was the equivalent of Steph Curry, do you err on the side of caution with an ankle injury, or do you try to have them grind through that and try to get out there and perform if they can?
Well, we try to have them perform if they can. You know, we don't want to hurt themselves any worse, but so they can play. Well, we got regionals coming up in the conference tournament, things like that. So it's tough. It's a tough one. It's up to them. I would let them make the decision.
Is that your water? We have two waters here. I think I might have drank out of Scott's, but, you know, we know we're friends. It's all good. Scott Phillips, Scott Robare with us tonight, the Hillsdale High School tennis program. Kobe Bryant the other night, final game of his career, drops a 60 spot on Utah on 50 shots. He broke the NBA record for the most misses in one game from the three-point line. He just started jacking it. You know, it was a meaningless game. He started jacking the ball up. Kobe Bryant has won 5 world championships, Scott. Did he need a 60-point game in his last game to solidify his career and his reputation? Or was that a little bit of overkill? And what did you think of Kobe dropping 60 on Utah in the last game?
Well, you know, it was his last game. Why not? I mean, neither team's going anywhere. And, you know, Kobe, he did enough to bring that team back to win the game. And even though he took, a million shots, like you said, I think it was a fitting ending for his career. If he would have gone out with 4 points, it would have been a whole different thing. But that night in the NBA, I'm not a huge NBA follower, but that night was pretty special with Steph and what he did and what Golden State did. And with Kobe, what he did that night, that was just pretty cool for the NBA. I think it did a lot for him.
If you had the tennis equivalent of Kobe Bryant, who is playing in their last game, would you let him have 60 aces?
Oh, sure.
Why not?
If they can do 60 aces. We'd like to have somebody just do one.
That would be good.
It's pretty hard to do. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about this team. Scott Robare joins us as well. The girls' season is underway. How was the turnout this year? How are your numbers?
We have an excellent turnout this year. We have 27 girls. And of those 27, I believe it's 20 are first or second year players. So we've got a lot of young, good players that are up and coming.
So do you get some players, guys, that have never really picked up a tennis racket before? Are you starting at scratch level with some of these kids, or have most of them played a little bit of tennis before they come to you?
Oh no, there's some brand new, which end of the racket do I hold first? Some of the exchange students come out for the experience of being in a sport, and this is a good one for them because we do start from scratch. Scott with the JVs and some of our boys that come and help them. It's basic footwork, how to hold a racket, how to make the first stroke. And we tell them at the first practice, you may not believe us, but you are going to win a match this year. And that's happened for some of them already.
So some of the new kids are already starting to see a little bit of success and kind of get the hang of it a little bit, huh?
Yes. We opened up with a big win over Northwest, and then Adrian, we also won. So far, the way our schedules, we've had one Division IV team, and we've had 4 Division II and 4 Division III teams that we've played already this year.
What's that like in terms of finding competition? I mean, I know a lot of schools in Hillsdale County don't have a tennis team, Scotty. Do most of the teams in your athletic conference have tennis?
No, there's only a couple. Onstead, Columbia Central are the only 2 that really have them. Now, Scott came up with basically a brand new league, and we call it the Smiddle, and the Southern Michigan Independent Tennis League.
The Smiddle, huh?
Which is really cool. I mean, there's 6 teams in it, and so there's a trophy. There's a traveling trophy. We made our own conference, but Scott was ahead of that, and he got that rolling, and it's pretty nice to have something to go for, because Hillsdale County has not had more than Hillsdale High School since 2003, I believe, is the last time Jonesville had a tennis team. So we've been county champs for all those years, you know.
Hey, keep racking up those titles. Clay Scheinman's going to have to give you guys a raise before it's all said and done.
Well, at least bigger trophy case, yeah.
So have you won any Smiddle titles?
Have we? No.
This is the 3rd year of the Smiddle, and Lansing Christian has won the previous 2. They've had some nice programs up there with some girls that have gotten lots of lessons in the Lansing area.
It's a question I always ask of the coaches, and I think it's interesting, the dynamic. You guys have a little bit bigger school than where I'm operating from at Cannon Frontier, where athletes are really at a premium. And at CF, we do let the kids who want to dual sport. So we have quite a few who do softball and track. In your situation at Hillsdale, I know Clay gets a lot of kids out for track. Do you have enough athletes to go around between softball, track, and tennis?
Well, actually, the last couple of years, well, maybe the last 4 years, girls have had quite a turnout in the spring. There are 4 major sports for girls in the spring with soccer, track, tennis, and what did I just forget?
Oh, softball.
Softball. But other than last year when we dropped with few in numbers, we've been the largest participation sport for girls in the spring for most of the last 10 years.
So getting kids has not been a big problem. Now, you're in the school, Mr. Robare. I mean, do you talk to the kids and kind of encourage them to come out for tennis?
Yes, plus I have a good recruiter down in the middle school with my wife. But we have open tennis court times 3 times a week all summer long, in which anybody from middle and high school can come, and we give lessons, we have them play. We basically have a fun time and to show them how fun that tennis can be.
Yeah, we're talking to Scott Robare and Scott Phillips, Hillsdale High School tennis team underway for the 2016 season. Scotty, you guys coach the boys as well. How is the game different between the boys and the girls? Are there any real differences, or is the coaching and the play style pretty much the same?
Well, the coaching's pretty much the same, but the guys are more intense. The girls are, that's a whole different world. I mean, they're a lot of fun, and they have fun too, but you have a few of their serious girls, but the guys' tennis they're out there to, I think most of them are pretty adamant about getting better and playing the game hard. And I think a lot of these girls are out having fun, which is great. We have no-cut tennis. So if there's 40 girls come out, we're going to have to somehow get them on the court.
And tennis is a game, we went down to Florida a couple of weeks ago for spring break, and there were tennis courts pretty close to where we were staying. And we went and played a little bit of tennis, a little bit of basketball down at the park. And what we noticed was they had a senior citizen league down there with dozens of people who were playing competitive tennis down there, not with real officials or anything, but they're trying to win games. That's a sport that if you learn it at a young age, you could play that the rest of your life.
Oh, it is. It's definitely. And, you know, Scott and I have had a lot of foreign exchange students over the years. They still stay in contact, and they try to go home and keep playing, which to me, if these girls can come and learn that and take it home with them and love it, you know, that's our goal, and that's fantastic to me.
Let's talk a little bit about your roster. You mentioned we're going to talk to a couple of your captains here in a second. Who are some of the people that you're going to need to really carry the mail for your team this year if you're going to have the success that you want to have?
Well, it's going to start with our singles lineup. We're very young. 3 of the 4 girls are sophomores, and the other one is a junior, because we graduated all 4 singles last year, with 3 of them with the last name of Shalasky. So also we so those young girls have to develop, plus our seniors that are back at first doubles, which are Jillian Hogue and Hannah Huff, our 2 captains. They also have to produce and show the leadership, and they've had a very good start to the year. So, I mean, a couple of the younger kids, a couple of the older kids, just like any good team, we have to have the mixture for success.
And you're seeing that, and, you know, the nice thing, too, is when you can get a kid who's a freshman or a sophomore and see them progress a little bit, you're going to have them in the cupboard for next year and continue to replenish that when the seniors do leave. And, you know, that's a true reality in high school and college sports, is you're only going to have them 2 or 3, 4 years, and then they're going to move on. You got to replenish that team.
That's exactly right. And what we've been very lucky to do with Scott running the JV team, it's been that we're not putting brand new people into the lineup, with a few exceptions that come in with talent, but we have people that get experience at the JV level, and then they make a smaller step the next year when they have to come to varsity. So it's been very good for the program.
We have an excellent tennis program here in Hillsdale, led by Scott Robare and Scott Phillips. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll talk to some of the players from the Hornet Tennis team. Timeout show live tonight from the Broad Street Tavern, live in downtown Hillsdale on WCSR. Timeout show is brought to you by Coach B's Driving School, my friends at the Randy's Auto Body on South Hillsdale Road, also the Jack Smith Agency. And bottom line is, we are here on a Broad Street Tavern Tuesday. We've got the Hillsdale Tennis team, and we're going to speak next with Hannah Huff. Hannah, you are part of a doubles group, right? And how has the season been going so far for you?
So far this season, we started out really well. We've had 2 matches so far, and we've had a tournament. And we played some really good girls, and we've worked a lot on some things that we didn't do as well on last year. So we've been getting better at communication and teamwork, and we're just looking forward to the rest of our season.
I'm impressed with this one already. She's very articulate. I got a couple of other questions for you. You play doubles. How do the coaches determine if you play singles or doubles? What's something that they're looking for in a doubles player?
Well, me and Jill, pretty much my partner, she's the co-captain with me. Pretty much ever since we started playing, we don't want to play without each other, so our coach really doesn't get a choice. We kind of force him into letting us play together, and he tried splitting us up this year, but we kind of refused, and we love playing together. We feel like we have really good chemistry and really good communication, and we feel like without each other we wouldn't play as well. So
if it's not broken, don't fix it. Hannah Huff is joining us right now on the Timeout Show. We're talking about this Hillsdale Hornet Tennis team. How is doubles different? I mean, I'm not a tennis expert. I watch it a little bit on television, but how is the doubles game different? You get the wider lines, I guess, in terms of the inbound stuff, but beyond that, how's the sport different from singles tennis?
Okay, singles in a lot of ways, it's more work and more you're trying to go back and forth. But with doubles, it's more of just technique, like how can you get it past the person on the net, how can you get it over them, which me and my partners struggle with a lot. But pretty much it's a lot less running, and you can cover more ground. So you have to have more positioning, better positioning.
But when I watch doubles tennis, I mean, y'all got to get right at the net. And I would think that you would basically eat some tennis balls over the course of the season. You're going to get some rockets right at your face, right?
Yeah, definitely. But I'm really afraid of those, so I always make sure that I'm ready to cover my face up.
Yeah, I would be.
Yeah.
That's kind of a no-brainer. You don't want to get smacked in the face by a tennis ball going 100 miles an hour. Hannah, I want to thank you very much for being here. And you know, what are your aspirations? I mean, what kind of run do you think your team can make this year in terms of you and your partner?
Me and my partner really this year, I mean, as sophomores, we had a way better season than we do now. But we're really just out to have a lot of fun with this year because we're seniors and it's our last time to ever play together or play tennis in general on a team. So we just really want to have fun and enjoy our last year together. It's not about winning to us. We just want to enjoy it.
Jillian Hogue, when Hannah makes a mistake, when she blows an easy shot, when she's not where she's supposed to be, I mean, does it get tense? Do you give her a dirty look? Do you yell at her during the match? How do you approach that when Hannah screws up?
Well, I mean, we all make mistakes, and with doubles, you can't really get mad because I make plenty of mistakes during the match too, so it kind of evens itself out.
See, I don't believe you guys. I mean, if I'm in a competitive match and I really want to win, and I know it's for fun, but I bet the competitive juices get to flowing during a close game, right? And your partner makes a mistake, like if I was playing with my brother or one of my friends, I'd be very frustrated with them. I don't think I would try to hold it in, but I could see getting very frustrated. I think that's part of the game, though. You got to stay mentally sharp, and when something goes wrong, you really can't let it overtake your game, right?
Right, you can't because then it messes in your head. Big part of tennis is it's all in your head, which our coaches tell us all the time. So you kind of have to let everything go when you mess up or your partner messes up. So.
How would you sort of classify your strengths and her strengths? Like, what do you do really well, and what does she do really well?
She's better at net, a lot better than me at net, and I'm kind of better at lobs and stuff, so we even out when we're front and back.
How does the serving work? Do you have to do a rotation on serve, or do the coaches get to pick who serves?
No, you have to rotate on serving. I'll serve a game, then the other team will serve a game, then she'll serve a game, and then the other partner on the other team will serve a game. So.
And are you the better server between you and Hannah?
No, I wouldn't.
She really is. She is.
They're both so modest. They're a very nice kid, Scott, that you have here. Jillian Hogue joining us. She's part of the #1 doubles team for Hillsdale High School. Now, Hannah said that you haven't done quite as well as you had done earlier in your career. Still time to turn it around, though, right?
Yeah, we're hoping to win league. That's our biggest goal me and Hannah have right now.
And what is it going to take to do that? Like, is there one area on your game that you think you have to turn around to make that league title a real reality?
Yeah, I think we have to get our energy up. We kind of sink to people's level or rise to people's level, so we have to work with just playing hard all the time.
Great doubles group. And, Scott, I want to ask you about them before I go to your singles. I mean, these two obviously enjoy playing the game together. They've played together a long time, and they've got that chemistry that you look for.
Oh, exactly, and you don't split that up. Right. But if you could have seen these girls Saturday in this huge tournament we had against big schools, they played some class competition, and they hung right in there. It was, I tell you, for me, it was fantastic to watch these girls. They step up to that level when they have to, and to watch some of those shots, you're just proud of them. That's all you can say.
#1 doubles for Hillsdale High School, Hannah Huff and Jillian Hogue. Thank you both very much. I want to move over to Janelle Mason. Janelle is one of the #1 singles. She's second singles. Abby's #1 singles. Janelle, what will it take for you to overtake Abby and become the #1 singles?
Oh, I don't know. My serves, man, I guess.
Let's ask.
It's a very close competition between the two.
Well, I wonder, why don't you let me know and our listeners, how do you determine that? I mean, is it a judgment by the coaches? Is it a statistical thing? How do you determine it?
They're going to play each other multiple times during the season. See, they were doubles partners last year, and now they're against each other. They didn't really want that, but Coach said you had to.
So it really comes down to how they do against each other one-on-one at practice.
Yes, exactly.
So do you enjoy taking on Abby, or do you get nervous?
Oh, I love it. It's so fun. She's like my best friend and my doubles partner for life, man.
So you're not that worried about it?
No.
All right. Janelle, how's your season going so far?
It's going really good. I'm really proud of the team in the whole. It's really great.
What would you say is your strong suit as a tennis player? What do you feel most confident in when you get into a matchup?
My aim. I'm really good at aiming where I want it to go. I feel like I have control sometimes.
And what do you think you need to work on the most to become the tennis player that you want to be before it's all said and done?
My serving. Definitely my serving.
Scotty, how do you get better at serving? I mean, I got to think that's really tough, especially in a close game, close match. Some of those high nervous serves could be an issue. How do you get better at that?
Well, just like with any sport, we have to give them muscle memory, and so it's lots and lots of repetitions of correct form. And for the first couple years, it's it's tough getting the correct form. It's a lot of timing, and when we get one problem fixed, then you go on to the next. But it's a muscle memory, and so that they feel comfortable that they can just throw the ball up and do a serve no matter what the situation.
Abby Pitts is the #1 tennis player at Hillsdale High School for singles. She's about 5'2", and yet, you know, Scott, I'll start with you again when we talk about Abby. I would think that you would benefit from being taller in the game of tennis, but I don't know much about the sport. Is that a disadvantage for her, and how is she able to overcome it?
Well, tallness does give you a better angle for serving and reaching shots, but it's overcome because the picture of competitor right in the dictionary has Abby's picture right there. If there's anything I've found out in just a couple of years that I've gotten to know her, Abby is a true competitor in any sense of the word.
Abby I've known for a long time. She's good friends with my niece Carly Shells. Abby, how are you?
I'm great.
Abby, you're the #1 singles player as a sophomore. That's something to be really proud of. Did you expect that to happen so soon in your career?
No, honestly, I was expecting Hannah and Jill to be split up and me and Janelle to have a couple more years together, but that didn't end up happening, and I'm enjoying the challenge of first singles, though.
How do you like playing singles versus the doubles game that you played last year? You mentioned that you've enjoyed the challenge. Do you enjoy singles as much as you like playing doubles?
Hannah mentioned like teamwork and all that stuff. I was not nice enough for doubles. That's what I find with myself. So singles.
So you did get frustrated.
Yes. Oh yeah. I was the poster child for frustrated. So I had to move to singles for the betterment of everyone.
How do you decide to play tennis? You know, you think about a lot of my students. They love to watch football, so they want to play football, right? Do the girls at your school, does anybody watch tennis on TV? Do you watch professional tennis, and is that a motivation for you, or did you just want to give it a chance?
Before I actually played tennis, I never saw tennis on TV, but now I enjoy it a lot. For me, choosing a spring sport was hard because I played all of them, so it was just a flip of a coin, and it was so lucky that I ended up where I am.
Are they able to do multiple sports at Hillsdale, or is that discouraged?
We have the practice where it's allowed, but I've only had a few double sports people. Last time a person was soccer and tennis, but she got pretty beat up during soccer to come then to tennis, and her game suffered. And that particular girl ended up to play #1 in college. So, I mean, she chose the right sport.
Do you grunt when you serve?
No.
Do you face kids that make a ton of noise when they serve?
Yes, and it's very intimidating.
Is it intimidating?
It's so intimidating.
So if it's intimidating, Abs, don't you think you should incorporate really loud grunting into your game?
Well, as you mentioned, I'm 5'2", so I feel like I can't be intimidating. Like, they see me and I'm already past intimidating.
Do you think that people, it's an interesting point that you made, do you think that people underestimate you because you're so small?
Brilliantly put, and I think so. Yeah, it's a tool for sure.
So you can surprise them, and obviously you're good at tennis, and they may not see that coming. They have to be nervous that you're listed #1, so you can't be too bad, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I've gotten this far.
Scotty Phillips, what's next? Thank you, Abs. What's next for you? What does the rest of the season look like? When does your tournament start?
Well, we're pretty jam-packed from now on in because we practiced March 11th, and we actually got to be outdoors the first 4 days, which hardly ever happens. We got to go to Michigan State to use the indoor facility, that was fantastic, wasn't it, girls? Michigan State indoor facility from 8 to midnight on a Friday night. And we've been outside to practice, but then spring break hits. And for 10, 11 days, it stops. And these girls, a lot of them try to play, but as you know, spring break this year up here was horrible. We couldn't get out any day. So you lost a certain percentage of what you gained in that first couple weeks of practice. But we get right back from spring break, and we're immediately into the season. And you just got to go. And
so when does the tournament start for you, or the districts, or whatever they call it?
Oh, well, we have a conference meet. It's going to be here in Hillsdale this year, which is going to be really nice. What's the date, Scott? The 12th of May. So if you want to see some really good tennis, come on down to Hillsdale High School Sports Tennis Facility and the Hillsdale College. Hillsdale College was nice enough to let us use their courts also.
Well, and they developed a state-of-the-art tennis facility over there.
Yeah, you just get a tennis team back and look what happens up there, which is really fantastic. But the regionals will be Friday, May 16th, I think, somewhere in that 23rd? Is that? Oh, it's 20. Yeah, it's the 23rd. So we're always in the regionals, and there's some huge teams up there. Teams that these girls play all year. They have coaches. They have the Kalamazoo Hackett's, the Lumen Christies, the things like that. These girls play all the time. It's hard to match that up with our girls. But
you mentioned, Mr. Robare, that you have availability over the summer. You know, all these other sports, football, basketball, especially volleyball, you know, they're training over the summer, and you do have some of that incorporated into your program.
We do have training, but it's more funning. It's not really training.
No, I understand that.
And it's a chance for them to work on particular strokes, and we play games. I get the machine out so they can work on a particular aspect of their game. And we, I mean, maybe 4 years ago it started picking up. In the last couple of years, I mean, I'm averaging over 12 people a day because of vacations in and out. They come when they can, but whoever shows up, we play tennis.
Abby Pitts' father is Alan Pitts, who is the proprietor of Hoop Lawn Snow and Landscaping, and he just told me a minute ago, Abby, that last year he could smoke you, and this year he cannot beat you. Is that true?
So he claims. I mean,
You dispute that he could smoke you last year?
I mean, I think, I don't know how I feel about that. That's interesting information.
You can beat him regularly now, though, right?
Oh, of course. I mean, same last year, too.
You make the old man run from side to side and get out of breath and all that stuff?
Absolutely. He likes to claim he's a ninja at the net or whatever. I just think he's huge.
These are great kids and great coaches. Scott Phillips and Scott Robare do an awesome job with these kids, and you want proof of it? Look at how many kids they have out for the sport. And I love the tone that you guys set. Yes, it's competitive. Yes, we want to win, but it's okay to have fun, too.
Exactly, and it's a lifelong sport like you were talking about earlier, and the more they play, the later on, the better we feel about it because they love it.
For all of the kids here tonight, all of the kids in the back having dinner, for Scott Robare and Scott Phillips, I really want to thank you for making the time during your busy season to come out and be with us tonight.
Well, thanks for inviting us. This is fun. Yep.
We're going to take a break. We'll come back with much more of the Time Out Show right after this.